So good evening, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to this special edition of our Inside series. Today we have the honor of hosting a remarkable speaker, a guest whose journey is truly inspiring. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Agnelorajesh Athaide, chairperson of Global St. Angelo's Group of Companies, a dynamic leader in business, innovation, and entrepreneurship. A first-generation entrepreneur, Mr. Athaide is a serial and a social entrepreneur, strategic venture capitalist, and an investor across sectors like real estate, hospitality, tech, fashion, and media. His vision and leadership has made a lasting mark on the global world in business. He's also a mentor through a leader and an author of 3 books in terms of business, success, passion, and about empowering aspiring entrepreneurs. We look forward to a valuable insight to our growth and innovation and entrepreneurial mindset. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Angelo.
Thank you so much, Jason. So great to have you guys here. A couple of them I'll be meeting for the first time. Plenty of known faces also. Makes me feel good about that. And great to be meeting in this setup. Thank you to Dr. Mukesh Batra, who has been a friend, philosopher and guide, not only to me, but everybody who knows him. And absolutely admirable personality. The only one who's a Padma Shri amongst us. And he, whenever anybody meets him, he makes you feel as if you have also got the Padma Shri. So that's Dr. Mukesh Batra for you. So it's a very interesting topic. I love entrepreneurship. I'm a first generation entrepreneur. The only religion that I follow is entrepreneurship. It's not local, it's not state-wise, it's not national, it's global. And entrepreneurship is the best religion to follow for all of us. That's what I do. But changing the game, the topic of the day is change the game. It's a very interesting game. Entrepreneurship is nothing short of being a game. And every game has its rules. And all those rules need to be understood differently as per the game. Like every game has rules. In a football, you can't pick the ball, you need to kick the ball. In the handball, you can't kick the ball, you need to pick the ball. So whatever game that you are into, you really need to play it well. What business you do is totally immaterial. How you do the business is what matters. So how you can structure it, how you can strategize it, how you can do it differently is the flavor of the game. Kahin pe nigahein, kahin pe nishana. So that's a very famous song which we all know, but that's what we need to implement in the business that we perform. I've had the fortune of working from a very young age. I've got the fortune of working in multiple sectors. I've got the fortune of working in multiple geographies. So as an entrepreneur, all of us are psychologists. We try to understand the mindset of the customer, the mindset of our teams, the mindset of our vendors, and the mindset of the government also towards the business that we do. So we all technically, without being qualified, we are actually psychologists trying to gauge how do we deal with people. Manpower is the most important resource for every business. We all agree to it. Jason is big time into the people of managing people. Business of managing people, so he understands it. Those are large numbers, and when you talk about people, it is not people, actually it is egos that you are handling. So you really need to understand them well so that they can be productive to you. It's like a dhayandi, right? You're on the top to hit the matka. Your foundation has to be really strong, who can lift you on their shoulders and make sure that you reach the top. So it's the foundation that you matter with. Doing multiple businesses from a very young age has given a lot of interesting experience, and lots of people, especially the people that work with you, they share their knowledge and experiences, and their wise words of wisdom pave the way for you as an entrepreneur to grow and take new decisions that you need to take as an entrepreneur. So we are not going to make this as a GAN session. We are going to make it interactive. So anybody can just raise their hands and ask a question and we'll answer that. I'm going to be sharing my personal experiences. I believe in live experiences and not gyan or knowledge. It should be something that you have done or I have done, and we share that as common knowledge. So there are some youngsters also over here. They believe in blockchain technology. They understand blockchain. So blockchain is no duplication, peer-to-peer. That's what we are going to be doing here. peer-to-peer we can share our experiences and enhance the evening together. As an entrepreneur, I ventured first as an educationist, began St. Angelo's Computers Limited, and realized that ecosystem for anybody is critically important. Like Dr. Mukesh Batra, multiple countries, hundreds of clinics, Dr. Batra's as a brand name. We understand branding, brand colors, brand visibility, design, right locations, all of that stuff. Recently, in the last 10 to 12 years, we have started talking about it in a very scientific manner. But Dr. Batras did it so many years back. Most of you all did it so many years back. Today we are putting a science behind entrepreneurship. But some part of time, subconsciously, without understanding the logic or science behind it, we did the right things. And that's how we achieve progress, success and expansion. Geographic expansion, horizontally and vertically, definitely changes the game. And that's what most of us in the room have always been doing. So, building an ecosystem is what we invested in. So, being the segment of education like medicine, you have a lot of personal connectivity with the people that come to you. You need to build their career. So we train more than 4.5 lakh students in a career spanning 27 years, mapping the length and breadth of Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, Thane, Pune and Nasik. And those 4.5 lakh people are actually not your students. They are the ecosystem because these are the people empowered with the knowledge of information technology, where one of our ex-prime ministers said that IT is not only India's today, but IT is India's tomorrow, and IT is Indian territory. And that's the reason we got popular across the world. 30 years back, lots of people in the world didn't know that there is a country called India existed. But information technology exported India to every corner of the world, and Indians became the part of the growth of every organization and indirectly the growth of that particular country, specifically Europe and United States of America. So that's what really brought us onto the global map. So that's why the ex-Prime Minister said that India's IT is also India's territory. So a very interesting journey. We got independence, and the way business was done then was different. The way business was happening at the time of independence was jiski lathi usi ki bhais. It was the might which was right, and it was the might which got the business, whether it is contracting, whether it is grabbing orders of somebody else and things like that. Things changed, the Narayan Murthis of the world came, the TCSs of the world came, and people with intelligence started making wealth. And we became the richest people in the world, and in the top 10 richest people, there used to be one Indian, and stuff happened. That was the year early 2000. Now the business scenario has changed. Now the entrepreneurs need to have a very sharp mind and a very warm heart. So there is direct connectivity of your mind and your heart. And what does that do? That creates and paves the way for social entrepreneurship. So all of us, directly or indirectly, are social entrepreneurs, taking care of more number of people than our own family and ensuring that the country at large grows. And that's what is shaping up the future of this particular country. Social entrepreneurship is required for turning a developing country into a developed country. So I always classify the whole world as a developed country, the developing country and the underdeveloped countries. We form in the middle, and now we are moving ourselves towards the upwards. That is becoming a part of the developed world, for which entrepreneurship is definitely going to be the key. So what do we as entrepreneurs do? We really need to build on some aspects where we play the game differently. So when it was education, we got into educating a lot of government departments, which gave us a lot of access to the right things, where less disturbance comes to us. When we realized which are the important government departments which can support our ecosystem in the nature of doing computer education, we got into those organizations where money was not the focus, but getting them on board as our client base and we educating them was interesting and important. Now, at a young age, with a young mind, that is how much you could think of. But strategizing is key, and that helps, and that's what we did. On the basis of the ecosystem that got built, then we started venturing into multiple other businesses, and it gave me excitement, because monotonous activity is something that I don't like. There are people who dig deep in one line of business. That's what Dr. Mukesh Batra has done. He has pursued medicine as his core profession. But I have chosen a different way. I did multiple businesses at the same time, following 3 rules of business. To expand every business, there are 3 methods. One is adding new customers, which everybody knows, including a kindergarten boy. Second is adding more products and services to your existing business. And third is doing both, adding new customers and adding more product and services to your business. So that's what I started doing. We built a customer base, and now we wanted to give more product and services to the same customer base. In a service sector, when you interact with people, you build relationships. It's not a transaction. The people who try to do it as a transaction, their expansion is a little difficult. It's not that they don't expand, but that expansion is a little difficult. But in the service business, you earn trust. Like I have a friend of mine here, Karan Talreja, started a gym called Reset, one of the best gyms in the city. Now what basically happened was all the top people of the city started going there purely because the way relationship was built not only by him, but by the teams working under him. At a very young age in life, I got a very interesting concept where it said that Ganga uppar se behti hai, jaisa raja waisi praja. Your thought process should percolate down to the last man in the organization. That might be the doorman or the guy who helps you in opening and closing the office or cleaning the office. That's how it should percolate. And if that happens, then whether you meet the peon of the office, the manager of the office, or the vice president of the organization, they speak the same language. They are there to serve you. They are there to take care of your interests. World moved, technology came in play. You cannot be working without technology being a part of your employee base. And technology is one employee which doesn't have a holiday, which doesn't get tired, which doesn't ask for an increment, and is loyal to you all the time. Then we had young entrepreneurs like Rushabh Pipada, who operates a very powerful performance marketing company where understanding the psychology and the right timing on the social media, you can really tap into the right market at the right time when your mood is positive, display an ad, capture you as a customer and bring you into the cash flow system. So today, any entrepreneur who wants to be successful really needs to have technology as a part of their armament so that you can reach globally. Technology has made the whole world into a small village. It has brought everybody together. It doesn't need a passport, it doesn't need visas, it can connect you to anybody in the world and it is free. To make a video call, to make a voice call, it doesn't cost you anything because you're on unlimited data plans. We are in the best era of mankind where all the tools for you to perform are readily available. You just need to play the game right. So how can you do that? There is a famous saying by Steve Jobs that life is all about the dots connecting backwards. And there are very intelligent Indian entrepreneurs who also learn the art of connecting the dots forwards. So if you can collaborate, there is no word called competition anymore. You do not have to compete, you need to complement, you need to collaborate. Growth is easily possible when you can collaborate, and that's the way forward. We really need to look ourselves the best in terms of what we are providing. We need to be absolutely truthful because you cannot act to be good, you have to be really good. The whole world has become a small village, so they can find out what you're saying and what you're doing, whether it has a gap or not. You definitely need to under-promise and over-deliver, and if you do it rightly, there are people like Vandana Sethi who can really communicate it in a way where digitally it is known to everybody in the world that this is what you do and this is what you mean and this is what you deliver. If there is no gap between what you promise and what you deliver, this world is going to welcome you with open arms and make sure that you grow. What I have witnessed in my life is business is like catching a train at the railway station. If you can know to maneuver yourself in that crowd, there are people who get frightened of the crowd, how will I enter the train? But there are smart people who go and position themselves in the crowd in such a way that the people pick them up and take you inside the compartment. Now you also need to know how to maneuver outside, because if you don't do that, then they will make you get down on the wrong station. So you really need to know where is your destination and when are you going to land there and how you maneuver yourself in the crowd. Ecosystem is critically important for anybody and everybody to operate and grow. So what do you do as an entrepreneur? Every vendor, every associate or every employee that organization has, you need to ideate on how they can take you to the next level of growth. How you can reconnect it forward. Like for example, we operate some of the best vegetarian vegan food restaurants called Sante Spa Cuisine. It's healthy. So what do? When you are slim and fit, if you are not slim and fit, you have got Dr. Batras there. They can make you strong and fit. But if you are not slim and fit, you need to go there. If you want to be slim and fit, you can come to my restaurant, that is Sante. And if you want to maintain your fitness, you really need to go regularly to a gym called Reset. And to go there, you need to be in the right attire, for which Karan has also started a brand called God Active. So Life is all about advertising and branding in every possible form that you intend to do. If you do that well, you're really good and great. The world is dramatically changing. We are now seeing the era of blockchain, cryptocurrency, something which is French for us. But we really need to understand because our customers don't understand the conventional currency. And for that, there are youngsters who come and coach you up and train you up. So, like for example, I met Shinam and Aditya, who are talking the language of future. In fact, their company's name is also Future Finis. That is finance of tomorrow. And what is that finance of tomorrow? It is all about understanding money, the correlation with cryptocurrency, the importance of blockchain, and how the world and the governments are going to perform tomorrow. Like even countries like United States are now holding their wealth not in treasuries only, not in gold only, but also in bitcoins. So we really need to, as entrepreneurs, adapt ourselves to changing times and move our game forward. Complications will multiply, so you need to have the best of law firms. Accounting is going to get complicated, so you need to have the best of accounting firms. There are people who cannot be great as employees. The great people and the best people are available as entrepreneurs. So you need to have a mindset that instead of hiring people, let me bring collaborative people on board. I have got people who are great in advertising, but they are one people or two people. For me to make my communication crystal clear, big, and operate it 24 hours by 7, I will need a Vandana Sethi who is sitting there with a team and a lot of infrastructure. And what can I do? I can start working with Vandana, and Vandana's ecosystem becomes my ecosystem. The products that I want to sell, the transaction that I want to do, I will figure out who are eligible from her customer base, who can be introduced to me by her, and we get into a new relationship. The trust formation today is critically important, and it consumes time, efforts, and money. So how do you bypass all of that? You can bypass all of that when there is a powerful common testimonial connecting two people together like a bridge, so that you can cross the lake or the sea or the pool without risking yourself. And that is what we need to work on. As entrepreneurs, we always try to work in the business. We need to start working on the business. If we are going to be in the business, our growth will be limited. If we start working on the business, our growth is unlimited. As entrepreneurs, we need to be a part of organizations like Skal, where you meet different people, you interact with them, you strike a rapport, you build a relationship, and you take that relationship forward. The madam there, Jayanti, she met me, she spoke to me about having so many hotels in Kerala, and these are all retreat hotels, sea-facing hotels, lovely properties, and suddenly my mind started working on how can we collaborate together. So I immediately asked her, would you like to get associated with a brand? So she says, no, we are building our own brand. So people have got their own mindsets and ways of thinking and operating. He is in the manpower business. Amazing. Anybody who can really train people and make them perform are God sent. Because that is what is the challenge. In developing countries, we have people whose performance really needs to be improved. Not only by training, but by monitoring their experiences and improving their experiences. So these are changing times. These are challenging times, but these are the best interesting times. You are armed with absolutely every tool that anybody might need to become successful in life. So changing the game is changing the way you think, you operate, you plan, correlate, and coexist. So that's how we do things. Like for example, we operate 3 businesses, multiple businesses. I operate around 20 businesses. But I have got businesses where I integrate things together. Like for example, if I'm into a brand called Board Active, that's a gym wear. So Rushabh Pipada is a technology company, he is a performance marketing company. He taps into the business model. Karan is the gentleman who operates the factory for production, design, styles, fashion, everything. So we integrated and stitched this ecosystem together so that business can happen better. In isolation, the day we start working only in isolation, our growth will still be there, but not to the size that you anticipate, not to the size that you would like, and not to the size that you would like to grow. Also, branding, advertising, marketing are very critical elements. How we can do that scientifically, how we can do that effectively, cost effectively, and how we can take it to maximum number of people is what matters. In a collaborative world, when 2 people, 2 organizations, 2 mindsets come together, the market becomes a minimum of 2x. So there are rules, regulations on how you do this. Today, thanks to ChatGPT, in an area of interest that you are, if you want to collaborate, even the ChatGPT can give you prompts on what should be the right mechanisms of working together if you people are two different mentalities, two different markets, two different sizes of resources. Resource management is an art, resource management is mandatory, and resource management needs to be done right. There are too many resources in the world. We don't need to own all of them. We can't own all of them, but we need to be in a position to integrate them whenever and wherever required. So that's the new game that people play. And that's how entrepreneurship is blossoming today. People who are doing this right are really doing it right. And who are your best trainers? Your colleagues, your peers, they are your best trainers. You look at them, you imbibe, you integrate them, and then you flow forward with them. So cooperating and collaborating is definitely a very interesting way forward. So this is what I wanted to share, and I would love to have questions from you so that I can address what's there in your mind technically and typically what you would like to understand. Otherwise, I would be speaking what I like to speak, and that might not be of interest to everybody in the room. So if there is any questions, I would love to answer that. And Vandana Sethi is bubbling with 4 questions, but I'll allow her to ask 1.
How do you manage so much?
So it's very interesting. So 6 years back, I decided at my peak I had 640 employees, and then I realized कि लोगों को motivate करते करते मैं demotivate होने लगा. And what basically happens is when the team works, they work with 2 watches on their hands. एक watch आने का कितने बजे और जाने का कितने बजे. But as an entrepreneur, you love to work more than an employee. So what I decided that instead of hiring employees, let me engage entrepreneurs, invest in them, share my ecosystem, take their expertise and skill sets, and start operating through them. So today I indirectly might be employing 5,000 people, but they are not answerable and accountable to me. The entrepreneurs in whom I have invested, they handle their teams and I handle them. So it's so interesting and it is so exciting. And when the entrepreneurs are working with you, you get the zeal and the thrill of life, because every time it is a conversation which matches your caliber, probably better than you at most of the times, and you get an excitement. So conversations with the right people, intelligent people is an addiction, and then you look forward to those meetings and they become more productive. So the people with whom I work, they manage the teams, and I make sure that I manage those people, and I share my experiences with them so that they do not have to commit the mistakes which I would have already committed and overcome. So that helps to grow, and that makes the journey very interesting and very easy. Our roles and responsibilities division is critically important. Once the roles are well defined, of course, you need to take help of good lawyers to set the right roles and responsibilities. Like we have advocate Megha Gupta here, brilliant lawyer. So generally cops come late, sometimes lawyers also come late. But you really need to draft the way well. And once roles and responsibilities are well defined, confusion happens when there is a confusion about role and responsibilities. You get that defined, do not apply your mind on that. Get a good lawyer on board so that गलती से भी गलती नहीं हो सकती है. The road to success is very interesting. The road to success will have a lot of potholes, but you need to really cover up them well. Like the road to success, couple of years back, we had so many potholes even in Mumbai. And thanks to my dear friend Mr. Sanjay Mahle, the Deputy Municipal Commissioner who's here. He is the gentleman who is responsible for ensuring that Mumbai doesn't have potholes. And these days, once upon a time I used to try looking out for the road. This time I tried looking out for the potholes, and there are none. So that's thanks to Mr. Sanjay Mahle, who has served the city, and we are grateful to you. Thank you, sir, for doing what you did to the roads. So it's very interesting on how we can avoid the potholes of business by having the right professionals working with you and ensuring that no point of time your business can have the hiccup, and your focus is only on your product and service and satisfying and making your customer happy. That's all. One interesting thing that I tell to my people, to my friends, to my partners, to entrepreneurs is always try to become a customer of your customer. How can you make a relationship thick? It's very easy. Try to become a customer of your customer. At that point of time, the relationship and the quality of service dramatically changes, because now it's a give and take game. So how do you do that is how you need to figure out and then get it implemented. Friends, I would love to share one thing. No idea is good enough if it is not implemented. If you can't implement it, it just stays at idea level. Implementation is the key, and every implementation is dependent on a lot of resources to ensure that along the journey, you really need to build an ecosystem where you have the access, the knowledge and the access to the resources which can be pulled up at the right point of time. Now organizations like Skal does that. There are so many people I would have never met if not for this platform. Thanks to Dr. Mukesh Batra. But then people like Dr. Mukesh Batra in your life will open up new doors of opportunities for you. You need to identify those opportunities, execute it, implement it, and create global good for everybody. Mutually gainful relationships. That's what we need to be doing as entrepreneurs. So any more questions that, yeah, young man.
As you said, you are doing 20 businesses. What sector of business excites you the most? Like restaurant sector or like any other sector?
So I love real estate development. I do some very interesting and very exciting real estate development because those are big ticket size deals. As an entrepreneur, I have started my deal making at 1,500 rupees per person for a 3-month course. So then ranging from 1,500 rupees to today selling apartments which will cost you 10 to 12, 15 crores gives you a lot of satisfaction, right? Like you divide that by 1,200 rupees and you realize how many students it would have taken to sell that one flat. So that gives you satisfaction. So real estate is something where I can create and it will last way beyond I might cease to exist. Also what excites me is how can I add value to my customers. The formula is simple. I want to sell an Innova, but the buyer should feel he got a Mercedes. That's about it. So what does that say? That says value creation. The value creation should be so enormous, so clearly visible that that customer should be your customer for generations, not for this lifetime, for generations. All my students who are my students with St. Angelo's Computers Limited are my customers in every single business that I do. Every single business that I do. So, like I said, how can you strategize to be different from the other entrepreneurs? In my computer education days, we started creating value by giving 3 facilities. In fact, we were the only people in the world to do this. Lifetime practice free, lifetime repetition of courses free, and lifetime upgradation of courses free. So you pay once and you take the benefit till you want it. Now that was priceless. Nobody thought about it. When you buy a fridge, you get a 5 years warranty guarantee. You buy an AC, you get a 2 years guarantee warranty. In service business, you cannot get lifetime warranty guarantee, right? So that is the game that changed that point of time. And then, like I said, business is interesting. We didn't have the money to put full page ads. We didn't have the money to engage and hire Vandana Sethi at that point of time. So we could do it within ourselves. And when Aptech and NIT used to give full page newspaper ads, front page newspaper ads, I used to send my peon and make them stand outside the Aptech and NIT centers and dole out leaflets to the inquiries that they got. So, scarcity of money makes your mind work. Scarcity of money and the ambition to grow makes your money work. So I was the David and my competition were the Goliaths. I was too small to be hit, but they were too big to be missed. आँख बंद करके मारूंगा तो भी उनको लग जाता था. So what did we do? We went. There are 2 types of people. One people who think that यहाँ पर बहुत competition यहाँ we should not open up an institute. दूसरा होता है कि यही बिल्डिंग में सब competition है तो इधर ही हम लोग institute खोलेंगे. So I used to do that and we used to beat them hollow. Very simple way. So life is the best teacher. Every situation teaches you great things. You really need to understand, absorb, grab it and implement it. And the results change. The results dramatically change, and that's what happened to us in every business that we did time and again. And the customer lot is the same and adding and multiplying. But the value that you promise is the value that you deliver, and the value that you deliver builds the relationship which is timeless. That's how we have done it. Anybody else? So I had a very interesting friend in school. His name was Umesh Navani. And his father was a very interesting character. His name was Prem Navani. So his father had a dialogue. जिसने की शर्म उसके फूटे करम, और जिसने की बेशर्माई उसको मिली दूध मलाई. So do not feel shy. Life throws an opportunity at you. Grab it because that gets you attention. Other people want to know you, and of course, हमारा भी रिश्ता बन ही जाएगा. You have a question, gentlemen.
You spoke about entrepreneurs and building up for the entrepreneurs and doing business with the entrepreneurs. I'm sure you've identified entrepreneurs a number of times and then you've dealt with them and you've had a failure or you had a loss. So how have you looked at that particular scenario and how many times have you faced that kind of a negative situation for you to learn from, one, and whether you would like to continue to do business with the same person again or go away to somebody else and look for a different idea with a new person. So how do you differentiate that?
So,
Entrepreneurial change.
So I study people very quick, and that's purely because I'm on the people business, that is education. And most importantly, I used to train all the law enforcement agencies in the city, all of them. And that was for 27 years of my life. More than teaching them, I learned a lot from them on how to analyze a person. And they used to train me on how, when a person is saying something, he has got something different in his mind and he has got thinking something else in his heart. So that's a skill that you develop by experience and by observing. Now that skill helped me. So I would tell you that I am doing around 20 businesses, not a single failure, not a single wrong decision. Because I am a spontaneous decision maker, but I am a risk mitigation is my core business. I will always mitigate risk. In one conversation, I will be able to gauge the depth of the person, and my habit is when I invest into a business, I take charge and the responsibility to grow that business. So there is very less scope for me to fail. That's the way I operate. I don't gamble. I don't take risk as such. I take the risk of taking a fast decision, but then I make it work. I make it work, and I will take up a business model only if I think that my existing ecosystem can absorb this new business and with very less efforts allow it to grow faster. So when I'm investing in a business, I already know what I'm supposed to do with this organization and then take it big. You have to have sometimes patience. Sometimes the business becomes profitable instantly. Sometimes the business takes a long time to succeed. But I don't give up. Not giving up is my nature. I will never ever give up. Like for example, restaurants is a very difficult business. Lots of people told me that restaurant you should tread very carefully. I had a different reason why I wanted to start a restaurant business, why I want to get into it. And you'll not believe it, every restaurant that we started, we broke even in the first 45 days. This gentleman here is into the business of restaurants in many places across the world, including Australia. But he will also tell you that it's a very tough business to operate. There are 10,000 moving parts to be controlled at the same time. Internal, external, and sometimes abnormal. You might not know what can be the next problem that you need to solve. But still we did it, and we break even most of the times in the first month or latest is in the first 45 days. Break even in the operating cost that I'm talking about, not the capital investment. So that's on how you structure and how you strategize and how you mitigate your risk. And I always fix responsibilities on people. So when I get into a partnership with anybody, I clear my responsibility and I play to it. No excuses. No excuses at all. And I do the same with the other side. That this is your role, this is your responsibility, and you can't fail even if you want to. And I will help you. The intent has to be clear. Law is all about intent. So there is a lawyer here who will second to what I say. It's all about intent. And that intent you need to understand in the first meeting. So if the intent of the person is just to take my investment and do nothing about it, or just try to create a solution of immediate relief, I will never partner with that. But if I understand the vision of the person, the energy of the person, the vibes of the person, and the enthusiasm of the person, then I will swing into quick action. In the first meeting itself, I will want to understand who are the parents, what is their backgrounds, what is the person's background, what are their choices, what are their hobbies, what is their view about life, about being single, about being double. I ask all these comfortable and uncomfortable questions. So what people would generally do over 10 meetings, I try to do it in 1 meeting. So that helps to take the right decisions.
What are the top 3 red flags you would say in terms of
His intent. Not top, only one. Intent. And of course, integrity. You need to check the integrity instantly. And like I said today, while talking to you, I can just text to 4 more people because the ecosystem is vast. Check with 4 people how this person is. Take their feedback. They might give their feedback with their experience of that person, but I don't take it as a blind shot. I will then gauge it and then analyze when I'm speaking to that person and then move forward. So there are so many people who have faced problems in life, have been branded in the negative way, and I still go ahead and work with them because I know that the situation was wrong for that person. The person was not wrong. The person is good, the person is great, and he can correct himself. The best people are in the waiting because of any wrong that could have happened with that person, but they are the most potential people. So all my life in education, what basically happens is you get the good people, the bad people, and the worst people also. So there was a time that where we were training everybody. We were training the cops, we were training gangsters' families, we were training politicians' families. So I had a variety of experiences with all of them. But majority of the times, the people who are good give you more trouble than the people who are presumed to be bad. Suddenly they become too cooperative, supportive, helpful, and what happens when you deal with them is totally different than what the people have a perception about. So it's all about how you deal with people, handle them and manage them. It's all about people management, nothing else. Yes?
So, what is the one advice that you will give to somebody like me who's not an entrepreneur and is scared of taking the plunge?
Take a daring partner. So it is simple. There are entrepreneurs who are very bold and they will do the unknown, and they are known for that. So either do partnership with them. Like it is very simple. Either you can earn money, or you can steal money, or you can marry money. So if you are not daring, you need to get associated with the man with daring. It's as simple as that. Classifying ourselves, doing our personal SWOT analysis is critically important. SWOT analysis is nothing but strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. If you can do that, you understand what's your weakness, and then you need to identify a person who has that as a strength. So I used to be a part of an organization called Extraordinary Lives, Excel Foundation from Singapore, and they used to operate from Bali in Indonesia. And they taught a very interesting concept, which I learned at a very young age. This was in around 2004, which is 21 years back. That time I was decently young. And they said that there are only 8 types of people in the world. And the most successful people in the world have all of the 8 characters in their team. That's why they are so super successful. One man might be visible, like Elon Musk is visible, but there will be another 7 people in his core management team, which is fulfilling that 8 types of people being together. One is a creator, one is a supporter, one is a star, one is a trader, one is a mechanic, one is a... So there are these 8 characteristics that you need to have in your team. So if you don't have that in you, you have to bring the other people either as your partners or stakeholders, and then create a complete team and win the game. Like even if there are 11 Sachin Tendulkars in the team, you won't win the game. You need to have a batsman, you need to have a bowler, you need to have a wicket keeper, and you need to have great fieldsmen also. It cannot be all 11 people great batsmen and you win the game. So having that permutation combination is critically important. In collaborations, that's a possibility. That's a great possibility. From a very young age, my mindset always used to be that the professionals can never be in-house. The professionals have to be outsourced, because there is where you will get great quality and they want to retain you as a client. So they will put their best foot forward, which cannot happen with an in-house facility. You get me? So an advertising agency has to be outsourced, a law firm has to be outsourced, a chartered accountancy firm has to be outsourced, a performance marketing organization has to be outsourced. You cannot build those muscles in-house. So that's been the rule, and it has benefited me. It's benefited me and many people like me who think in that particular way. So that's how we have built what we have done till date. And it's a very interesting journey. So I've got 5 more minutes, or it's over?
4 minutes.
4 minutes more. So I can take one more question. Yes, gentlemen.
What is the best strategy for growth? Organic growth or inorganic growth?
Organic growth with the power of being inorganic. Like collaboration is inorganic. Organic is the business that you do, scale up your revenues, but collaboration is an inorganic growth. Like if you can collaborate with somebody who's bigger than you, the growth is enormous. So now I have a philosophy that I apply. The people need to be smarter than me, the people need to be bigger than me, or at least like me. Only then I will collaborate with them. So if you do that, you grow really fast. So whom do you grow with is also matters. Whom do you get associated with also matters, because it is not only the transfer of technology, but it is a transfer of goodwill, resources and opportunities together. And always try to do in your business, always try to do a forward integration or a backward integration. All the 20 businesses that I do are connected to each other directly or indirectly, and that's how we keep shaping it up. So it's all a strategy. Life is also a game. You really need to play it right. Life is a strategy. You really need to strategize it well. You really need to understand your daily goal plans, your yearly goal plans, and your life goal plans. On where do you want to reach? And if you have that plan clear in your mind, that plan will never have potholes on the road. It will be a smooth ride. You can go at full speed. So it's all about making choices. Whoever is in this room, wherever you have reached, it is the culmination of the choices that you made and the decisions that you took, the decisions that you abandoned and the decisions that you implemented. It's a culmination of all those things. So we taking the right decisions is critically important. Always have a coach. Like I have 10 friends with whom I discuss, I ideate. And that really makes a sounding board which helps me to take the right decisions in life. Always have that sounding board. Always be part of organizations where ideation takes place. It opens up your mind. Today, learning is cross-learning. You can never learn from your peers in the same sector or segment. You will learn something in some other sector and you implement it in your business. So that's how it's happening. So you don't have to keep meeting the same people from the industry and try to learn, because they are doing what you are doing, you are doing what they are doing. There is no learning curve. But when you cross-learn, I learned so much from Dr. Mukesh Batra, the way he brands, the way he's controlling the people, so many people. It's a people-dependent game. The way he monitors them with the help of technology, like the technology that he has implemented, I don't think any other medical professional would have implemented for that line of business. So it's really cross-learning that helps you to understand what you need to be doing. Like for example, the restaurant that we operate are totally in a different way. So we don't sell a chicken tikka masala or a paneer tikka masala which is available in every restaurant. 70% of the food made in Sante is invented by Sante. You can't get it anywhere else, which means if you want to enjoy that food again, you have to come to me. So no colors, no flavors, no additives, no preservatives, nothing artificial gets used in the restaurant. So that gives the customer a reason to come to us. So you really, and this is all cross-learning. This is something that we have learned in some other sectors which we are trying to implement in this particular business model. If I do construction, I do it very differently. The height of my structure is different. The look of my structure is different. The materials that I use is different. So the best way to create a brand is use a lot of brands. I developed the villa project at Shahpur. Now Shahpur is outskirts of Bombay. The products that I use there, those products are not used by people developing projects in Bandra, where the per square feet value is 1 lakh rupees. In Shahpur, I sold it at 10,000 rupees. So I brought all the brands together, like Siemens, Kohler, Jotun Paints, Jindal Aluminium, the best brands together and created a product. So when you are not a big brand, bring all the brands together and become a bigger brand. So where did I learn that from? I learned that from a phone called Vertu. You must have, now it's discontinued, but there used to be a very nice phone called Vertu. I still use it. And that phone taught a lot. It's a dumb phone. Lal button or hara button usme, there is no tech. But it's a valuable phone. So the glass of that phone is of Rolex. The ceramic of that phone is of Rado. Below every button there is a ruby. The leather that they use is of Ferrari. So what did that smart man do? He's the guy who started Nokia. The owner of Nokia started Vertu. And he gave services, concierge services. I could press the panic button and call for a chopper. I could call for shoes which is available only in Italy and they would provide it for me. So that was the concierge services that you gave. The phone, when we were buying phones of 15 and 20,000 rupees, this phone started at 3,40,000. It went to 2.5 crores. The phone with pure diamonds and stuff like that went to 2.5 crores. So what did this gentleman do? He created a brand by culminating multiple brands together, putting it together and calling it a new product called Vertu. So there are multiple ways. Wealth creation has got multiple routes. What Bill Gates does with 5 lakh employees is what Richard Branson does with 350 companies, is what Warren Buffett does with a team of 22 people. All are wealth creators, all are different routes, but the end result is they are super successful people. They do things very differently than a regular entrepreneur mindset. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure interacting with all of you guys, and thank you for keeping it so interactive. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Agnelorajesh Athaide. You have a very long name, but you have much longer achievements. Thank you very much for being with us. On behalf of the club, may I present you with a bouquet of flowers.
Thank you so much.
To remind you, a little certificate to remind you of your evening with us on behalf of all our members.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I now request our senior member Sunil to please propose a formal vote of thanks. You ask the question, so. Now you can.
That is not a punishment though.
A formal vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
May I call you Agnew?
That's fine.
Agnew, what you really brought today to the perspective of most of us out here is that we know it, but we really don't know it. So, technically speaking, you really brought things out to make us understand that, look, what we've been doing and what we've been following all our careers and during all our times of experiences that we've faced, we've really never really broken it down with the same concept that you brought into perspective. What is very interesting is that you are doing what I would say is some of the Sindhis do. All right, they actually start a business. They go to Spain, take people from India, go to Spain, set up a shop. They've got 5 people working in the shop. After about 2 years, he takes 2 people and he sets up 2 more shops and makes them a partner there. So you've got the same concept, which is amazing, the way you put it across. And that was what you said, the entrepreneur is creating an entrepreneur, and in turn, you're managing all that. But I think what your experience was people. At the end of the day, I've been doing most of my life, I've been managing people and creating growth. So I think one learning all of us have come across is that if you can get to understand people, you won the game. And I think you brought that to visibility for all of us, saying that let's start looking around and start talking to people again. Let's not go back into our own shell or step back because something bad happened or something didn't really work. You gave that to us today. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.